This evening, the Cooperative Republic of Guyana turns 51 years as an independent nation tomorrow, and there are some reflections by a former illustrious Prime Minister of this country. There is to be a merger of two government media entities, GINA and the Department of Public Information, as government continues to work towards providing better services. A University of California professor says lower oil prices could be an advantage to Guyana when the flow starts here. Cultural Day Thursday was observed today by many schools as part of Guyana's 51st Independence Anniversary celebrations. In the region, there is disorder in the capital of Brazil, and the country's president has sent in troops to stem it. And internationally, there must be equal effort of defense spending by all allies of NATO, says U.S. President Donald Trump in Brussels.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Ramble Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with Basil Bradshaw.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel as well as our website safetvguyana.com. Join us. As Guyana celebrates its 51st anniversary of independence tomorrow, Andrew Weeks sought out a former Prime Minister and the immediate past Mayor of Georgetown, Hamilton Green, for a special 50+1 anniversary reflection. He quizzed a man with tremendous experience in an illustrious career about the urgency of our leaders back then to be released from the shackles of our colonial masters.
All right, Mr. Mayor, what would you want Guyanese to remember most about our independence celebration? What is your greetings, your message to Guyanese pertaining to our independence celebration?
First of all, our independence came at the end of a long struggle, beginning with the slaves, the indentured laborers, and the fact that it was not an easy environment. Remember, the world after the end of the First World War was designed to keep the colonies as colonies, sources for raw material, and in fact to configure our minds that we'll always want to be British subjects. Led by Forbes Burnham, Cheddi Jagan, the movement for independence started in the 40s and the 50s. There were problems with the Third World, there were problems with the Cold War. But for me, and I hope for every Guyanese, independence signals an opportunity to be masters of our own fate, to use our resources for the benefit of the majority of people of Guyana. Independence must also tell us we got to think as an independent people. This has been our greatest challenge. Many of us still have the old mentality of relying on outsiders to move us forward. Forbes Burnham, when we got independence in 1966, charted the way and made the statement that we must now be independent, recognizing the challenges that face us. Today, 51 years after, we've overcome many difficulties. But I believe our young people, and I was speaking to some young people today, must see this as an opportunity to make optimum use of our gold, our mineral resources, our agricultural resources, and very soon our oil, so that my generation can bequeath to the young people a country that is good, safe, healthy, and non-rebel.
All right, thank you, sir.
The late Terry Nelson puts it perfectly in this masterpiece of a song called We Welcome Independence to Guyana.
We welcome, oh we welcome independence to Guyana. Everybody, jump and be merry, oh we welcome independence to Guyana. Thank you, Britain, for the years of colonial ruling. We now sing songs of praise to remember those happy British days. Independence has its purpose, which will not be a racial curse. We know this will soon settle down. We welcome, oh we welcome, oh we welcome independence to Guyana. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody, jump and be merry. So we welcome independence to Guyana. Opa, let's go now, come on. Independence to Guyana. Everybody, jump and be merry. So we welcome independence to Guyana. Hip hip hip, hooray! Hip hip hip, hooray! Hip hip hip, hooray! Oh we welcome, oh we welcome independence to Guyana. Everybody, jump and be merry. Oh, we welcome independence to Guyana. Fire, let's go! Oh, we welcome. Oh, we welcome. Oh, we welcome independence to Guyana. Everybody, jump and be merry. Oh, we welcome independence to Guyana.
Thank you, Andrew. Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Imran Khan, is to head the new merged government media entities of GINA and the Department of Public Information. In this report, you will also hear that Minister of State Joseph Harmon has called on the new boards of National Communications Network and the Guyana National Newspapers Limited to carry out their duties with transparency while maintaining their integrity. It's all in an effort to salvage citizens' confidence in the state's dissemination of public information, as a shake-up in the department was the only way to regain public trust. As of January 1, 2018, the merged agencies will generally be referred to as the Department of Public Information, the DPI. Beverly Alert, who served as director of GINA since June 2015, has been seconded as Public Information Coordinator to the National Communications Network, the NCN. Imran Khan will now assume the position of Managing Director of the new Department of Public Information. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, who addressed the staff of GINA, said while the department has been doing better, it is not good enough.
We have been able to get into news outlets more than we had done in the past. But at the same time, we have not been able significantly to change the brand, the GINA brand, that it was a party propaganda instrument. And the politicization from a partisan point of view of the public information that we would like to guard against.
Mr. Nagamutu lauded GINA for reporting the facts and not propaganda since the coalition took office in 2015.
It is for the first time that GINA has assumed a role of covering what the opposition does in the parliament and what the judiciary is doing and what the executive is doing, as well as what Parliament is doing, the Speaker and Parliament, they are doing at the level of the legislature, so that we have the defined function for public information that delimits the temptation even of partisan slant to public information.
The Prime Minister says government agencies in the news department must disseminate factual information to the public at all times. Meanwhile, the new board of NCN and GNNL had their taste of reminders from Minister of State Joseph Harmon, who told the new chairman and directors that the public must be given timely and accurate information.
If, as a state, we are unable to communicate the work which we do, we are unable to communicate our message to the length and breadth of this country, then people will say you are doing nothing as a government. And we've had that kind of complaints, we had that kind of statements made that we've been here for 2 years and we ain't doing nothing. Before that, quite a bit. But I think it is to the extent to which people have not been informed properly about what we are doing, it is to that extent that those statements will become, will hold sway in our society.
Mr. Harmon said the work of GNNL and NCN are important to the people of Guyana.
That whatever policy guidelines you set, it is that will be reflected in the entities under which you have some control. And it is that information that will be communicated to the public. We are not here in the government to tell you what to do. I believe that our work speaks for itself. And we believe in transparency. We believe that the board should have integrity, and that we believe that you should be open to the Guyanese people so that they can see what it is that you're doing.
The minister, speaking in the presence of Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, also told the new directors that it is not about financial rewards, but really about selfless service to the nation.
I have had the experience, Prime Minister, of many of our boards, when people actually get to start working on the board, they feel, well, that this thing is pure work and that the remuneration package is not enough. But this here is a call to service. This is a call for you to give service to your country in the capacities in which you're being sworn in today. And I trust that you will always remember that this is about service and not about reward for oneself, but service and selfless service to your country and to your community.
Receiving their instruments for the GNNL.
The newly installed NCN chairman is veteran broadcaster Enrico Wolford, while the GNNL chair is attorney at law and former magistrate Geeta Chandan Edmond. 4 members of the previous GNNL board were reappointed: Ruel Johnson, Karen Davis, Bert Wilkinson, and Tabitha Sarbo-Halley. Wilkinson and Sarbo-Halley are both overseas and therefore could not attend today's presentation ceremony, which was held at the official residence of the Prime Minister on High Street. Mr. Hakim Khan, a newly appointed GNNL director, is also overseas. The other GNNL directors are Sherrod Duncan, Hilbert Foster, and Aaron Fraser. Mr. Wolford will also have another veteran broadcaster, Margaret Lawrence, alongside him on the NCN board. Lower oil prices may be to the advantage of Guyana, which expects to pump first oil by 2020 because high prices for the black gold may trigger corruption by politicians. This was the utterance of a University of California San Diego professor yesterday. Quote, "The higher the oil prices and the more the revenues that flow into the country, the greater the risk that politics in the whole country becomes reorganized around grabbing that money for corrupt purposes, rather than using it for development," unquote, said professor at the UCSD's School of Global Policy, David Victor. He said there are studies that have shown that this happens in countries during high oil prices. The price of oil is currently just over $50 per barrel, down from more than $100 several years ago. Some experts predict that the price may be around $80 in 2020. He recommended moving the money offshore into a sovereign wealth fund that would spend it on infrastructure over a long time period rather than putting the money into the national budget. Since ExxonMobil's discovery of close to 2 billion barrels of oil offshore Guyana, the country has been laying the groundwork for the establishment of a sovereign wealth fund, a petroleum commission, and a national oil company. The United States has been urging Guyana to spend some of its expected oil revenues on the improvement of health, education and infrastructure, among other areas. Coming up on Headline News after the break, some schools participating in Cultural Day Thursday to mark the 51st Independence Anniversary, and demands are being upkept for the total revocation of the parking meter contract.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Guyana! Guyana!
The Central Housing and Planning Authority, under the patronage of the Government of Guyana, brings to you Housing Solutions 2017 and Beyond Expo, a model village of modern, stylish and affordable housing designs. Prospective homeowners, here is your opportunity to engage with the banking and other financial institutions as well as insurance companies to discuss available financing options. The public will experience and enjoy wholesome entertainment for the entire family and savor the flavor of local and foreign cuisine as well as beverages at the food court. So tell a family, tell a friend and come visit Model Village. Housing Solutions 2017 and Beyond opens on Friday, May 26 at 15 hours and runs from May 27 to 29. Time 11 to 22 hours each day at the Perseverance Housing Development site on the east bank of Demerara. Not too sure where that is? Just follow the Massey and Princess Hotel Road. This event is sponsored by Geico Construction, Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, Republic Bank, Turganol, New Building Society and Courts.
Expo, be there.
It's always fresh, tasty, enticing, and the best in town. Served hot from our experienced chefs. Come and enjoy our daily meals with a wide and delicious menu to choose from. Also a wide variety of pastries and dessert. We can also host your luncheons, cocktails, parties, and formal gathering. For reservation, call 225-1730, 225-0038, and delivery 225-0195 or 225-0159. The new thriving Chinese restaurant, 32 Main Street, Georgetown.
John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook, Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
A number of schools celebrated Cultural Day Thursday in observance of Guyana's 51st independence anniversary. Andrew Weeks visited a few of them and filed this report.
A number of students were arrayed in the clothing of the 6 ethnic groups in Guyana. At Dolphin Secondary School, we arrived and see some students in the assembly area awaiting an entertainment piece from one of the local steel orchestra. I spoke with the coordinator of the event, Sir Stevens, for an update as to what transpired. All right, I'm here with Mr. Everton Stevens. He is the coordinator for the Cultural Day activities on the 51st Independence Anniversary celebration in Kingston, Guyana, and across the country. So, sir, tell us exactly what are some of the plans we have for Dolphin secondary this afternoon?
Well, sir, pleasant good day to you. You can see that we are a very patriotic people, and on the heels of the 51st Independence Anniversary, we have pulled together a cultural program in observance of this great event. It's a very important event in our history, and so we want to ensure that our students are involved in this celebration. So this morning we first had our flag raising ceremony where we hoisted the national flag, and we would have had a little formal program there. This afternoon, or at this point in time, we're having a little bit of a more cultural program where students are displaying different cultural items as it relates to our national patrimony.
So you would have a steel pan, musical with rendition, and probably little singing and so on and so forth.
Right. Well, the program has already started, in fact, and so we would have had a display of European wear. We've had the singing of national songs, and we've also had dramatic poetry. And at this time, we're preparing for the steel pan rendition.
One of the teachers worked up the students for the show as they eagerly await the steel pan rendition. Listen. Next, it was over to Charlestown Secondary School, a nursery. The big girls were all dressed up in their cultural wear, some Chinese, Africans, East Indians, etc. But it was the little ones who were all dressed up in other costumes as nurses, teachers, mechanics, doctors, lawyers, etc. All in all, everyone can say they had a great cultural day with lots to eat and drink. Most assuredly, looking forward to 2018. Andrew Weeks, Channel 2, Headline News.
Thanks again, Andrew. Two leading private sector organizations, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the GCCI, and the Private Sector Commission, the PSC, are maintaining their demand for a complete revocation of the existing parking meter contract between the Georgetown Mayor and City Council and Smart City Solutions. This comes even as a parking meter negotiating team led by Councillor Malcolm Ferreira is reviewing the contract in response to public outcry and protests. The private sector bodies met with the team on Thursday and stated that they would not be complicit in supporting the continuation of a highly contentious contract that was signed amidst widespread public concerns about transparency and sovereignty. In a joint statement, the GCCI and PSC said the private sector supported the position of the Movement Against Parking Meters, MAPM, and were repeating their call for an immediate and complete revocation of the existing contract between the MNCC and SCS. The private sector body stated that they are fully behind the MNCC in its efforts to develop and implement revenue-generating initiatives, but while the issue of traffic congestion in the central business district of Georgetown must be addressed, there are a range of alternative and workable solutions to decrease traffic congestion and, simultaneously, guarantee revenue. Still ahead, information on the chaos in Brazil's capital that has attracted government troops, and Donald Trump's bold statement that has targeted NATO allies.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride taxi service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook, Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Guyana, Guyana.
The Central Housing and Planning Authority, under the patronage of the Government of Guyana, brings to you Housing Solutions 2017 and Beyond Expo, a model village of modern, stylish, and affordable housing designs. Prospective homeowners, here is your opportunity to engage with the banking and other financial institutions as well as insurance companies to discuss available financing options. The public will experience and enjoy wholesome entertainment for the entire family and savor the flavor of local and foreign cuisine as well as beverages at the food court. So tell a family, tell a friend, and come visit Model Village. Housing Solutions 2017 and Beyond opens on Friday, May 26 at 15 hours and runs from May 27 to 29. Time 11 to 22 hours each day at the Perseverance Housing Development Site on the east bank of Demerara. Not too sure where that is? Just follow the Massey and Princess Hotel Road. This event is sponsored by Geico Construction, Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, Republic Bank, Turganol, New Building Society, and Courts.
Expo, be there.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
Now opened, the new thriving Chinese restaurant Providence location. Perfect for large events, exquisite menus featuring traditional Korean, Chinese, and Western cuisine, elegant grand dining room, and seats for over 500 persons. Also additional seating on the upper flat, luxurious VIP rooms, and an elevator for your comfort. The new thriving Chinese restaurant second location above Massey Supermarket, Amazonian Mall, Providence. For reservation, call 623-4097 or 657-9067.
In news from the region now, Brazil's President Michel Temer has deployed federal troops to restore order in the country's capital, Brasilia, after some ministries were evacuated during clashes between police and protesters seeking his ouster. Temer is struggling to retain power after the release of a recording that appears to capture him approving hush money for a convicted former lawmaker. Brazil's top court is investigating him for alleged obstruction of justice and involvement in passive corruption. Al Jazeera's Lucia Newman reports from Brasilia.
They had come from all over Brazil, tens of thousands of trade unionists descending on the capital to tell Congress that they will shut down the country if controversial labor and pension reforms are approved. Teacher Zilmar Alcantara traveled for 2 days by bus to get here.
para lutarmos pelos nossos direitos, né?
We need to fight for our rights and stop these reforms, and also get rid of the president who's involved in so much dirty business, she says. Riot police used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse demonstrators as they neared Congress and the presidential palace. Organizers were forced to cut short the protest after a small but more violent group set fires inside 3 ministries. President Michel Temer called for the evacuation of all government buildings and authorized the army to go onto the streets to restore order. This as calls for his resignation grew, not just out here, but inside Congress. Many of Temer's coalition allies are discussing his replacement and have apparently given the president notice that his days are numbered, following new allegations implicating him in the endorsement of bribes to obstruct a corruption investigation.
The only question is who would replace him, a subject that's being intensely discussed behind closed doors within the Congress. And the people who were President Temer's coalition allies argue that he can no longer lead the country, that he has been too discredited and must be removed in order to move forward with unpopular austerity measures that are the very reason why these people are out here protesting.
Despite Brazil's worst economic crisis in history, many say the most necessary reforms are political.
We are suffering a political crisis that impacts all political parties, all the political institutions of Brazil.
A crisis that may give these protesters their wish for a new president, the second one in a year. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Brasilia.
And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump has told his NATO allies in Brussels that all members of the alliance must pay their fair share of defense spending. Massive amounts of monies were owed, he said, voicing a long-held U.S. concern that others are not paying enough. Hear more in this report.
I have been very, very direct with Secretary Stoltenberg and members of the alliance in saying that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. But 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States. And many of these nations owe massive amounts of money from past years and not paying in those past years. Over the last 8 years, the United States spent more on defense than all other NATO countries combined. If all NATO members had spent just 2% of their GDP on defense last year, we would have had another $119 billion for our collective defense and for the financing of additional NATO reserves.
And that's Channel 2's headline news for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 headline news on Facebook, YouTube, and SafeTVGuyana.com. You can also tune in at 6:30 on Sunday evening for a rebroadcast. Until then, I'm Basil Bradshaw. On behalf of the entire Headline News team, wishing you 51 various ways of patriotic happiness on Guyana's 51st independence anniversary tomorrow, and signing out from this newscast.